Nothing we say is investment advice. Please pause on all 3 pages of this disclaimer and read it.
Good morning, everybody. We're taking a look at Bitcoin today. Everybody's got their eye on whether or not it's going to head up towards 80K, right? So we're going to look at whether or not I think that's going to happen. And I do have a theory here. And some people are going to like my theory. Some people will not. But I'm not really into what people like. I just want to tell the truth about what's going to happen with the charts, or at least as best I can. And what I do is I use the data on the screen to predict that, right? And I've got a couple of different screens I look at, and I teach people how to build those, teach people how to predict where price is going to go. If you want a preview of that, go to the description. There's a free algo in there. And basically what we do is we teach people how to build the DNA for a trading bot and a trading agent, right? So if you go and click that link, it's going to connect you to a video where you see me build one of these algorithms that go into the trading agent. And I also show you the tech that a lot of these traders use to connect that algo to their exchange so it can trade for them. Well, they're not even at the computer. You have to optimize the code to do that, right? You have to optimize for what you're trading before you actually turn it on. But that video is in there. Click the link, algofactory.tech. That's what we do. So Bitcoin is kind of hanging out at 76,000. It won't break above it, or will it? I don't know. Let's back out. You can see what I think is going to happen here just by looking at the chart. You can see the prediction, right? But let's actually back out and talk about what Bitcoin has been doing so we can make a thesis, right? So I can tell you right now, Bitcoin is actually short-term bullish. So if we go back to the big move down that ended at the beginning of February and it went down to 60,000, it's been climbing up ever since. Now, those of you who are the pattern trader types will notice that there was a similar move that happened after the all-time high at 126,000. Price actually made its way down to 80,000, and then it climbed up, right? And it made this higher high, higher low, and came down, right? Well, it appears that it's doing that again. Now, this is actually what's considered to be a bear flag. If you are a pattern trader, in fact, you could be a little more precise with it and have the metrics start right there. And it really works out to, basically the move down is about the same size as the move down after the flag ends, right? That's kind of the bear flag look of things. And, bear flags, they work, especially on a higher time frame with Bitcoin. Bitcoin, a lot of the time, only really, pattern trading is useful. I don't really trade that way, but it's useful on a higher time frame with Bitcoin for such patterns, right? Well, let's say the bear flag ends right there and heads down. What usually happens is the move down is about the same size as the flagpole, and you can predict where it's going to go. That's how these bear flags work. And to really kind of draw this out, this is how people look at bear flags. Well, Bitcoin's pretty tricky on a low time frame, and it fakes bear flags, and then it goes the opposite direction. So you want to be careful with the pattern trading, because pattern trading is, and I don't mean to insult anybody, but it's kind of a newbie thing. And so they fake newbies out and take their money. But in this case, on a higher time frame, if you took this flagpole length and you matched it right there, it's pretty close right there. So this is on the daily chart, right? So this is something that took months to happen. And it looks like we're in the midst of this once again. Now, price may continue up, but in the end, price went ahead, came down, right? And then you have this same pattern where you have higher highs, higher lows, right? And we might be in the midst of a new higher high if it goes up to this level, if it goes up to 80K, right? And we could use that data to copy this flagpole and predict that price could head down to about 40,000. Now, I think before the end of the year, there is a good chance we're going to see price go to 30,000 or below. But right now, at this very moment, what is price going to do, right? Well, now in the low time frame, I use a lot of other metrics, among them the data at the bottom of the screen that you see. And I use a multi-time frame analysis, which means I actually look through these different screens here, looking at low time frames, high time frames. On the far right is the monthly, and then right here is the monthly chart. I'm looking at Bitcoin going back for years. Next is the weekly chart, which is still going back years, but I have a little bit more, granular data. And I can tell you right now, Bitcoin does have a decent amount of bullishness, but it's right at a very delicate point. in this weekly chart. It's at a very delicate point where it may want to continue up like we just talked about. But because Bitcoin is still in the bear market, or at least it looks like it's heading into the bear, I mean, it's down. What did it go down? 50%. It went from 120 all the way down to 60. So that's pretty bearish. Will it climb back up to 80,000? I think it's actually pretty likely. But I think 76,000 might also be where it gets rejected, or it might go up to 80 and then move down. We're not going to really know what's going to happen until price reaches these areas. So for example, right now price reached 76,000. And I've been telling all of our people, like, look, I'm not going to trade up to 80. I'm not going to go long until price actually breaks above 76,000, because it could simply wag back and forth below 76,000, that blue line right there, and then head down, right? You could go long and then it just messes you up and takes you out. So that being the case, the plan I have is with this dotted line, if price were to go above there, I would consider taking that trade and going long at that time and not before, right? Now, if price decides to reject, I'll have some clues in the algorithms and the data, the indicator stack below, and also some of the algorithms I've actually written that don't show on this particular screen. They do show on the daily. So if I were to flip to the daily, which that's a 3-hour chart, you can see one of my algos right there, saying, hey, go long, go short. And you can see it's pretty accurate. They don't all, they don't all pay off. This one actually was probably a loser right there, but these two are winners and this is a winner, right? So it's a pretty decent algo. And right now I don't have any short signs, right? I don't have anything telling me to go short. Right now, price still looks a little bit bullish, but how it behaves at 76,000 is really going to tell us what we need to know. If it just can't break above that and it heads down and then breaks below this level right here, give me just a moment, which is 65,000, then 76 probably was the high. We have ourselves a double top and price probably heads down. But if price goes up to 80, breaks above 76,000, and I still have all the bullish indications that I have right now, then it's probably going to head to 80,000. And that's how that looks. So until it breaks 76, and it hasn't broken 76. And that is the short answer to the question. If it goes above 76 in a convincing and strong manner, which usually for me means that at least we get a candle close on the daily. In this particular case, a daily candle closes above 76. And then if at that point, moving up to 80,000 is actually quite likely. Even a candle to close in the 4-hour or the 3-hour still is pretty likely that we'll see price go above that. So that's how that works. That's Bitcoin for now. Let me go ahead and take a look at the comments. Morning, Mick. Good to have you on. Thanks for coming on to the live lab with us. Now we're going to take a look. I think we'll look at silver next. Silver has been just showing pretty strong here. Same kind of look, although silver has different fundamentals than Bitcoin by far. And we're still in sort of holding pattern, but there's a little bit of bullishness at the moment, meaning that if I zoom in, this will make a little bit more sense. Let's see, this is an old prediction. It didn't pull back. It actually just kept going up. I thought it might pull back a bit, but silver has been relatively strong. So we never got a chance to take this particular trade. So let's take a look at what might happen next. Now, this might pull back. Let me take a look at the indicator stack just to get a view. This is still pretty bullish, everybody. If there's a pullback, I mean, technically you're seeing a little bit of a pullback right now. You see how it's kind of hooking down. But this is silver in a very strong uptrend. And yes, it does look similar to that Bitcoin scenario, but silver is in a very different place in the market, right? Silver didn't just have, a 4-year cycle high, which it doesn't have a 4-year cycle at all. So silver could conceivably continue up, but for the moment, it does look like it will pull back. And this is a similar look to what I drew either yesterday or the day before, where we're just going to take a look at this most recent move up. Right, I'm going to impose a Fibonacci tool on top of this. Okay, so as I do that, I just want you to see the actual market impulse onto which I will impose that Fibonacci tool. And this is a great tool for showing levels where price likes to go. And so we have, on a very bullish scenario, the 382 right here, 382 Fibonacci retracement, 618, 786. These are the three levels that price likes to go to from a Fibonacci standpoint. But let's go ahead and take a look at the volume nodes, right? So this is based on, this is like a liquidity finder. And you can actually tell a lot of this by looking at the chart, not even using this tool. But price tends to be attracted to liquidity and get rejected by a lack of liquidity. So for example, these volume nodes, if I zoom in a bit, I'll show you. Those volume nodes, these volume nodes, that's where a lot of trading happen. And so price tends to be attracted to that area. There's not a lot of it here at the 382. It's there. And in a very bullish scenario, it could bounce off of that. It could, it could grab that, maybe even, want to go back up after that. But it is attracted to the larger nodes. And I think this is the 618 is what that line is, that Fibonacci 618. That's a very likely place for price to go. Price is actually not attracted to these areas that don't have any volume. In fact, it tends to be repelled by them. So if I were to change this to, say, yellow, we have a couple of spots where we could see price doesn't want to go, but I think price will want to go here to the 618. It'll grab this, and then it'll probably be rejected if it tries to go any lower because there's no volume here. Just there's nowhere for the players to fill their trades unless they want to go all the way to this 786, right? We'll know or at least we'll have a good idea of it as price moves in that direction, if it even does. But this is this right here is a double top, right? So if we want to kind of just go old school, then you have a double top right here. And we could do this nifty old trade. Basically where price might dip below and grab right there. So price might come down, make a little move up, and then head down. That might be the short to take, right? Gonna have to go with the algos on this one. So let me just go ahead and back out, take a look at the near term. I could tell you that silver's pretty bullish right now. And the move down has kind of already started. So, if you're going to take a trade down to the 618 and you're going to have a stop loss right above the double top, not a ton of meat on the bone. It's like a 1.34 to 1. It's within the rules. I could take that trade. I don't really trade precious metals like that. But if I were to do that, I probably would have price come down, find whichever low it finds, and then look for a long. That's how I would do that. I'd grab a long. I don't know if it's going to be right here, but I would grab a long and then look for the extension upwards rather than try to short to this bottom. I'd look for the extension upwards. That's how I would do it. Right. And then 85 is actually a key level. Apparently, I have it marked out. I have to zoom out why 85 is marked. I don't know why I marked it. It might just be that extension. Apparently it is that extension. Now the key level, I don't know. Cool. We have our targets marked out for us. But we actually have a key level here at 89. So for silver to really start to get kind of near-term bullish, breaking above 89 or really 90 is going to be the key level right there. So a good trade, I think, again, would be find that bottom, identify it using whatever tools you have, grab the extension. That's a nice trade. Could easily be a 3-to-1 or better. And then as price approaches this 90, that's where you're going to have to watch to see if it's going to get rejected or head up. And we're probably not going to see that this week, but we'll have an eye on it. Thank you all for watching. We're going to head over to the private live lab. Okay. And this is what we do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Okay. That's every week. We come on here 8:30 a.m. EST sharp. We do the charting. We take requests. So if you're in the chat, you have a chart that you want to see, we're happy to take a look at it, as long as it's not some dumb shit coin like, Harry Potter, Obama, stupid coin. We'll take a look at crypto, stocks, whatever it is. And then we continue this over at the private live lab, right? So we're going to head over there right now, go into the description, click the link for the free algorithm. Okay, it's a video that shows you how I build an algo, turn it into code, show you the tech the traders use to connect it to their exchange. So their trading agent, their AI bot can trade for them. Of course, you have to optimize the code for whatever you're trading before you do that. But we do talk about that tech in that video, and we're going to do an updated video pretty soon on that. Thanks for watching. We will see you next week. We do have the weekly update video coming out on Monday, and those videos have been pretty darn accurate. So if you, I don't win them all, but a lot of times I get like maybe 5 out of 7, 6 out of 7, sometimes 7 out of 7. I do sometimes knock them all out, but it's pretty tough to predict what charts are going to do in the current environment. Trump says something and the markets go haywire, but we do what we can, and we're pretty darn accurate. And you will get that weekly video if you also click that link for the algo, right? So pay attention to that, and we will see you next Tuesday. Thanks for watching.
Join us or die.
Just kidding. You're not going to die. We love